Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be here with me today. Walter here at the workbench. And what we're going to work on over the next series of videos is going to be hand plane, basics. Why? Why basics again, Walter? Because I have seen too many people getting things mixed up. I'm not saying wrong, they're getting things mixed up. So, at first, I'm going to go over quickly the anatomy of a typical modern day metal plane. If it were an antique plane, uh, I don't actually own any antique wood planes, but in a wooden plane, the only difference is you generally have a wedge holding your blade or blade set in, and it is the adjustment factor. And we're going to talk about that in another video. So right out of the gate, what is a hand plane? Well, I always believe the hand plane is nothing more than a chisel in a block of wood or a chisel in a metal body holding it in place. That's nothing. There is nothing different than a chisel in a block of wood and a hand plane. Nothing different. It's a cutting edge that is being held in place at a specific angle and with enough clearance underneath it so you can make that shaving at a controlled thickness. That's it. That's the basic. Number one is, yeah, I know I look silly here, but I can't put sweatshirts on over this. Um, so, having said that, you have the body of the plane. We're going to talk anatomy now. This is the body of the plane. All right. That is what holds it all together. That's the carrier. Okay. Whether it's a wooden body, okay. The wooden body has a ramp, which would be considered the frog or the bed, and it has a wedge to hold the blade in place. Okay. Other than that, the terms are the same on wood planes and metal planes. You have the body. The body has a toe and it has a heel, has a sole or bottom. You have two cheeks, left cheek, right cheek. Okay. In this instance, I have a horn as a front tote, and there is a little round piece here for your hand to go into, which would act similarly to a rear tote. Now, on a metal plane, once again, you have your body, you have your sole, your toe, your heel, the mouth opening. All planes have a mouth opening. Two cheeks, left and right. Front knob, rear tote or handle. And that's all there to support the blades or the irons. So let's pop the hood. Take the blade set out and look at what is under the hood. Under the hood of a metal plane, we have what's known as the frog. The frog, which is right here, supports the blade set. All right, so it has a machined flat surface where the blade set rests on. And usually over time, you're going to find that your blade set only touches in a couple of places. 3 would be optimal. Sometimes you get more than that. So your frog is your bed angle. In a wooden plane, you have the actual bed. All right, they're at 45 degrees. The main purpose in modern planes of the frog, instead of just holding the blade set in place, is to allow for adjustment. All right, and how the adjustment is done is based on a few things. There's a slot in your plane blade, a vertical slot, that allows for the positioning of your cap iron. Your cap iron also has a little horizontal slot that sits on top of what is known as the yoke. All right, the yoke is what advances your blade set forward and back. That long slot, okay, the long slot is to accommodate a little bearing on what's known as the lateral adjuster. And it does just as the name says. It allows you to adjust. It allows you to adjust your blade set laterally, left and right. Okay? Now, what the yoke does, it sits in that slot, and this is known as the lever cap. That holds it all together. But the yoke extends down over the adjuster knob, also known as the adjuster nut, which as you move it left and right will either advance or retract the blade set. Now there's some more screws and adjustments, but at this point, all that would do, and I would get into it, but I really would like to physically do it, and I can't. So you have 2 screws in your frog holding your frog down onto your plane. And then there's another screw behind that allows you to move the frog back and forth, opening or closing the mouth opening. I don't do that a lot. I usually set my planes and forget it. All right. I do all my finessing with my cap iron or my chip breaker. So, have I forgotten anything? Body, toe, heel, cheek, sole, mouth opening. Front knob, rear tote, blade set, blade, chip breaker, lever cap. Yoke, adjusting nut, etc. Now, in the event you have a wooden plane with a double iron, this happens to be a single iron, but if you happen to have a blade set in here that's a double iron, here's where your first plane should be a metal plane over a wooden plane is in the adjustment. Sometimes when adjusting a wooden plane with a chip breaker, you'll be tapping on it to retract it, you'll be tapping on it to advance it, and sometimes what happens is that chip breaker moves. All right? I found that to be the case with the Hawk irons that I have in my East meets West plane. The same thing can happen with modern planes. When I say modern, anything 100 years old or younger. If your cap iron, your chip breaker, is not properly fit and set and tightened to your cutting iron, all right, this is a two-parter. If that's not fastened and fit properly, and if your lever cap is on too tight, when you go to advance or retract the blade set, you can actually have the chip breaker, cap iron, move off of the blade, changing your setting at the cutting edge. So sometimes when you find that you're having problems getting a decent cut, or the plane is clogging, take your hood, open the hood, take the lever cap off, take your blade set out, check your cap iron setting, make sure it's clean, make sure it's tight and properly set, because what might happen is your chip breaker moves before the blade because your lever cap is too tight. So there's that. I don't want to throw too much more at you. I'm going to slow down and we're going to stop at this point, but I'm going to leave you with this. If you have any questions, any comments, any ideas, or discussion material for the next video, put it down in the description box. The three main things that you need to figure out are: one, have I cleaned, flattened, and sharpened the cutting iron properly? Sharpening is key, okay? You gotta get that perfect. Next up, is my cap iron, my chip breaker, is that fit and set properly? And is it tight to the cutting iron? And lastly, is the sole of my plane flat enough to take the type of shaving I need to take to do the job I need to do? That's it. Those are the only three things that will either make a plane work or not. Yeah, there are some other settings and some adjustments and fettling you can do to super tune your plane. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about hand plane basics. Okay? If your sole is reasonably flat, your blade is properly sharpened. If it's a smoother, you want to not only sharpen, but you want to polish it. Okay? You want that cutting edge perfect. A jack plane, you can basically just sharpen it. All right? And is your cap iron, your chip breaker, set properly? And we're going to talk about that in subsequent videos. But that's it. So when it comes down to, is a Lie-Nielsen plane better than a Wood River, better than an Old Stanley, better than a Craftsman? The answer is yes and no. The Lie-Nielsen is the most premium plane side by side with the Cliftons as far as a production plane of the highest quality. But if you don't sharpen it properly and you don't have your chip breaker set properly, and somehow, for some reason, the sole is not flat, which it will be from the factory, it's not going to perform any better than an old wooden plane. Follow me? Not dissing on anybody, but that's the key. So that's about it for now. I hope this helps somebody, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced woodworker. It all comes down to sharpening, setting, and flatness. And I'll get into that more in another video. Like, subscribe, and share. Head out to your shop. Go make some shavings for me. I can't. Walter out.